Education is the most powerful weapon which you can use to change the world. Nelson Mandela. The recent deaths of George Floyd, Ahmaud Arbery, and Breonna Taylor, coupled with slavery and hundreds of years of racism and discrimination in the U.S., exposes an extreme insufficiency in our capacity to address racism, discrimination, and systemic inequality. Today, we see a massive global response to this long-standing pain. No more can we tolerate to repeat the mistakes of the past. I believe we have an ethical responsibility to learn so that we can rectify the past as much as possible, and so that we can design proactively a new future. A future that holds each human being as worthy and as sacred. A future that puts an end to systemic injustices committed against people based on race, ethnicity, sexuality, gender, class, or any other social demarcation. I believe we require a different kind of learning. A new kind of education that takes into account our wholeness. A different kind of learning that is based on respect and dignity. A learning that enables new ways for us to relate to one another. For many of us, education was about having the right answers. It was about proving our point. It was about persuading someone to buy into our perspective, or about imposing certain beliefs. Rarely have we been taught how to hold paradox, how to let go of certainty, how to be present when intense emotions arise, and how to listen deeply to one another. If education is the most powerful weapon that we can yield to create change, then isn't it vital that we examine the quality of our education, the essence of our learning? One of Newfield's fundamental principles is that we learn through conversation. What is conversation? Conversation is changing together. When we converse, we listen and we receive the perspective and the worldview of another. And we allow that to amplify and to broaden our own perspective. In this way, diversity is an extraordinary asset. Martin Luther King said that a riot is the language of the unheard. What would happen if we truly listened to all voices? What if we recognized that listening is a doorway into understanding, into compassion, into collaboration and co-creating? It takes courage to listen. It takes courage to reflect, to learn, and to try something new. We may make a mistake, we may not get it right. Yet if we remain frozen, if we remained paralyzed, we will surely travel down the same path we have already been on. It is time for courage. It is time to choose compassion over certainty, to choose listening over speaking. It's time to choose reflection over reaction. It's time to choose conversation over separation and isolation. It is time to come together in solidarity, to look deep within our hearts, reflect and engage in new conversations, to generate meaningful action, to generate new realities. We have entered a time of opportunity to move beyond the limits of what we have known. Together, it is possible to wield our greatest weapon, education.